What's up, guys? Willie Renshaw here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. It's going to be more of a discussion video than a review. But I thought it'd be fun with the new Blade Runner coming out tomorrow to go over the original 1982 version and talk about that a little bit. So let's take a look. Blade Runner, the final cut, I should say. So I saw the original Blade Runner about 10 years ago, and I didn't remember much of it at all. But luckily, it was playing again at a movie theater near me in preparation for the release of the new one. So I went and took a look at it. I was talking to a friend of mine a little bit about the original Blade Runner, and I guess when it came out, it was kind of a big deal because the way the cinematography and production design was done, it was something people had never seen before. It kind of set the standard of what sci-fi movies were going to be like going forward, and it still influences some to this day. Two in particular that I can think of right away are Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise, and also Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise. The original Blade Runner is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Harrison Ford as a retired cop who gets recruited back into service to hunt down 4 replicants. And a replicant is basically a human-like droid. In the film, 4 replicants have escaped the labor colony they were working on and have come back to Earth in 2019 Los Angeles, and it's Harrison Ford's character's job, Deckard, to track them down. It's kind of hard for me to critique a movie like this from a content standpoint because it was made before I was even born. And also, I've watched a couple other reviews already, and a lot of people say that it's something if you're really going to review, you need to watch it a couple times to really understand it, and I would agree with that. As I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I had seen this movie in 10 years, and I didn't remember anything about it from when I saw it 10 years ago. And even after watching it this time, I thought I was paying pretty close attention to it, and there's still definitely some questions I have about it. I wouldn't by any means trash this movie. It's definitely well acted and clearly well made, especially for the times. Although I am a little bit surprised that so many people seem to like it. When I got out of the movie, I was curious to see what other people thought, so I went on Rotten Tomatoes, and based on what I saw there, it looks like 90% of people liked it. And that surprised me a little bit because the movie is a little bit slow. It's slow for a while and then picks up for a couple scenes and then drops you off and goes right back to being slow. I also didn't particularly care for the style of the movie. On the one hand, it was kind of this gritty crime drama, and then on the other hand, it was kind of this artsy sci-fi movie. And I don't know, for me personally, it just didn't work. I'm not going to give this movie a final score just because, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think it would be fair of me to criticize a movie like this that came out 35 years ago. Because if I were to give it a score, I would be comparing it to sci-fi movies and other movies I've seen in recent years since I've been alive, and I don't think that would be fair. Even though this movie wasn't particularly my cup of tea, I by no means regret going to see it. I think whenever you have a movie coming out that's based on something that came out in the past, it's always good to check out the original so you know how to compare the two afterwards. I'm still pretty excited to see Blade Runner 2049. I think where filmmaking is today, this movie will have a much better pace to it. It won't be nearly as slow, which for me will make it much more enjoyable and improve upon a lot of the problems I had with the original. The other thing I want to mention real quick is that the new Blade Runner movie is being directed by Denis Villeneuve. That's exciting to me because if you've seen his previous movies, he does a really good job at creating suspense in them, and that was something that I thought was missing from the original Blade Runner. So those are my thoughts on the original Blade Runner, but I'm really curious to get your guys' opinion on this one. What did you think of the original Blade Runner? Did you think it was too slow, or do you think it deserves to be considered a classic? Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you liked this video, feel free to check out some of my other reviews, and as always, remember to hit that subscribe button. Till next time, take care.